The chairman of the Michigan Republican Party is facing backlash tonight after he used the term witches, I'm quoting, while characterizing the top three Democratic women elected to office in that state: Governor Gretchen Whitmer, Attorney General Dana Nessel, and Secretary of State Jocelyn Benson. Here's what GOP State Chair Ron Weiser said while speaking to a local Republican group on Friday.
I made the decision to continue to serve, to make sure we had an opportunity to take out those three witches in 2 years from now.
Weiser later tweeted he should have, quote, chosen my words more carefully. Later at the same event, he was asked how to remove two Michigan Republican congressmen who voted to impeach the former president. Again, quoting here, the state GOP leader said, quote, other than assassination, that's a quote, I have no other way other than voting out. A lot to get through tonight. Joining me now is one of those women targeted by his words, Michigan Attorney General Dana Nessel. So, Madam Attorney General, this is not a small issue in your state. After all, the governor was targeted with an actual terror plot, right? I mean, we've seen this before. When you heard those comments made by Ron Weiser last week, you tweeted, quote, as a gay Jewish woman, I have long since learned to respond to hateful rhetoric with humor, but as a prosecutor, I know these remarks are certain to inspire further death threats, which will eventually be acted upon. Ron Weiser will surely react with shock and deny any culpability. So you have a lot of experience here. These words are potentially dangerous, are they not?
I agree entirely. And in fact, he followed that up saying we were witches that needed to be burned at the stake. So he sort of, implied a little bit more later on in that sentence. But it's not the first time. I mean, the party, the co-chair, they've called us evil. They've called us the three-headed monster. Yeah. They go to great efforts to demonize and dehumanize people. Yeah. And that's the entire reason why we had to create not just our hate crimes unit, but our domestic terrorism unit, which is flooded with death threats against elected leaders. But it's like saying, I didn't know that calling the governor a dictator over and over would incite people to want to kidnap and murder her. I didn't know that calling, COVID the Chinavirus would inspire people to murder Asians. Or I didn't know that saying that the election was stolen would cause people, to mount an insurrection against our government. I mean, we know that words matter and that they incite actions.
I want to ask you this because I personally, as a reporter, I covered international terrorism for many years, and I see parallels right now in this country, right, in terms of rhetoric, but also the threat of domestic terrorists. For folks at home who might look at this and say, well, it's not that big a deal, right? It's America. This is not going to go anywhere. Just tell me how you respond to that point and say, this is real, right? I'm curious. You have a lot of experience here.
Well, we know it's real, and we see it every day. And we see it in terms of the threats that are made to public officials, threats that are made to the public. These are, I don't want to say unprecedented times, but certainly in my lifetime, I've never seen anything to this extent. And of course, as Attorney General of the state, I'm sort of privy to more inside knowledge. So I see the direct nexus between what is said by whether they are higher up elected officials or they are party officials. I see their words repurposed later on by those that are involved in actions to actually harm these elected officials or to harm members of the public. So there is a direct correlation that you can't separate. But the thing is, I don't think that this was a slip of the tongue by the Michigan chair. I think this was poll tested and that they actually looked at this, and this is a strategy to get Trump supporters out in 2022 in Michigan is to demonize us this way. And I think it's a strategy that they're going to hold on to.
Well, folks at home, if you have not seen the video of the group that tried to target the governor of Michigan, Gretchen Whitmer, look it up online because this is real. Attorney General Dana Nessel, we hope you stay safe. Thanks so much for joining us tonight.
Thanks for having me.
And we'll be right back.